This season starts with Raz and Jordana walking through the wilderness, where Raz reveals that the Forever Rock from China is located in the wilderness. They then go up to the Shadow Dojo, where they use a Source Dragon power to open it. We then cut over to these Stupid and Jargo TikTok videos, and then Aaron is watching Tanafishi's, Intelligent George. Then Aaron and Sora ride around the monastery on Ryu, and Frohiki gives them a letter from Creel. So they go to a junkyard and learn that someone is looking for some ancient artifact, so they go on a stakeout, and while on their stakeout, they meet the new Master of Smoke, Cinder, who smokes them in a fight. But luckily, Lloyd comes in and gets a vision, and Cinder gets away with the Mallet of Shattering. In episode 2, we start in the Cloud Kingdom, where Raz and his army attack. Then we go back to the ninja, where they all talk about how Raz is back, and about the new Elemental Master of Smoke. Then Lloyd, Zane, Sora and Aaron go to the crossroads to find out more about what was stolen by Cinder, and they end up talking to this pink Hypnobrai, and she tells them that that is used to shatter goodness and all that stuff. Then Euphrasia goes to the monastery and tells the ninja that Raz attacked the Cloud Kingdom, so they go to the Cloud Kingdom and get into a fight with the Wolf Mask Warriors, where Cinder takes them all on and smokes them, so they have to retreat. And we continue with the Cloud Kingdom in episode 3, where Cinder is practicing Shadow Spin, and back at the monastery, the ninja are upset about their recent defeat, and during this time, Lloyd meditated to find an answer. Eventually, the Source Dragons come to Lloyd and show him a metal gate where they can learn how to defeat Shadow Spin. The ninja then get their climber suits, and they then make their way to this metal gate. They then make it into this cave, and they couldn't exit it in the bounty, so they use the climber hooks that Sora made to make their way up. And Sora also makes Kai his climber mech. Oh, and they also fight this thing. They then make it into this other cave, which gets really dark, and the ninja then face their fears. Aaron can't get to his parents, Sora faces Imperium, and specifically Beatrix. Lloyd faces his fear of not being a good enough leader, and Nia sees a fake Jay who doesn't remember her, and since that would never happen, she realizes it is fake and not actually happening, so she manages to free herself from whatever this thing is, and then the other ninja as well. Anyway, they get out of the cave and they make it to the big metal gate. In the 4th episode, we start off in the land of Lost Things, where Geo is missing Cole, and then the Wolf Mask Warriors start to attack. But back to where the last episode ended off, the ninja fight Egot the Master Dragon and defeat him by playing some basketball. And then when that happens, the gate opens and Rontu comes to fight it. The dragons and ninja then talk to each other about needing to learn how to defeat Shadow Spin. The dragons are originally skeptical about helping them, but they end up coming around. Anyway, back to the land of Lost Things. Cole comes back in his golem form, and he breezes through some Wolf Mask Warriors, and he creates a mountain of rocks to protect all of them. In the mountain of rocks, they try to figure out why they might want Bunzel, but Bunzel says she has no idea why they were after her. But the wolf masks start to break into the cave, so they build a portal gate, which coincidentally takes them to the portal gate, which is located in the monastery. And we start right where we ended off with in episode 5, with the Finders and Cole running straight into Zane. They then fight the wolf masks who came in with them, and Bunzel then tells them about how she's a spell and how she met Master Wu. Meanwhile, the other ninja are trading under the watchful eyes of Egot and Rontu, and then they get sorted into their Fang ranks. Sora and Ryu are in the first Fang, and the rest in the second Fang. So Egot teaches the second Fang ninjas about motion. They then do a training session where they spin around a Beyblade arena and Aaron runs into everyone in it. Then the episode ends with Raz talking to his master, who tells him he needs a sacrifice. So we start off episode 6 with the ninja training, where they play a weird version of basketball. Meanwhile, Wildfire is still injured and she talks to a rock. Meanwhile, Cole, Zane and Bunzel go through the crossroads to find a map of the merged realms so they can find Mysterium. The snake guy gives them one, but it ended up taking them straight into Rama's trap. Yay! Dorama is back. And back in the wilderness, Aaron throws a rock into Egot's face, which sends him down to first Fang. And Wildfire talks with Egot, where she finds out that Egot has the wasting sickness. but sadly, back with Dorama, he traps a ninja on a stage, but Bunzel can just walk through this hologram wall, and they fight Dorama, easily winning. They then make it into Mysterium. Swiftly moving on to episode 7, Zane, Cole and Bunzel find a monastery in Mysterium, which even has the same crack in the wall that the original monastery has. And back with the rest of the ninja, Wildfire gives Eagle some dragon soup to help with his sickness. And in Mysterium, they find Bunzel's creator, Gandalf, I can't be bothered saying that, who recognizes Bunzel. And going back to the wilderness, Gruntu helps Lloyd with how to deal with his visions. And back in Mysterium, the administration knocks on the door of the monastery because they are after Zane. And the sky also starts to turn red, which means the blood moon is coming, which causes Eagle and Gruntu to turn into stone. But luckily, Kai managed to learn Rising Dragon with the help of Nia just in time. The episode also ends with Bunzel going underneath the monastery where Jay intercepts her. Now we have episode 8, where the ninja are still dealing with the dragons turning into stone, and the other ninja are still fighting the administration, where the light spirit with Bunzel shows Jay using his lightning powers, which kind of scares Jay, which allows Bunzel to just run past him. Anyway, they manage to defeat the administration, and they start to look for a box to trap Bunzel in, which is just such a great idea, as we will see later. Anyway, since the blood moon has risen, the ninja go towards it to stop Raz, but Jordana uses her spells to crush the bounty, and all the ninja fall off except Kai, Wildfire and Sora. But luckily, they use Kai's Karma Mech to get out of the danger. And back with the other ninja, they make it to the witch's mushroom house, where they get the box and safely put Bunzel in it, but then Jordana comes in and traps them and takes Bunzel with her. Episode 9 starts off with them immediately getting out of the trap, but the door is locked, so they have to go all around the mushroom house to find a spell to get out of the house. Meanwhile, Aaron and Ryu make their way to the blood moon, where they run into Jordana, and Aaron manages to kick her out of the car and save Bunzel. Also, Kai, Wildfire and Sora fight some wolf mask warriors and also put on the wolf mask suits to sneak into the ceremony. Back at the mushroom, they mess around with some spells, making Zane change sizes, and Cole also turns into a dog. Anyway, Zane turns into Ant-Man and walks through the keyhole, and he then opens the door. They then find the crushing Cloud Kingdom, where they decide to try and save it. The episode then ends with Raz finding Aaron and very slightly hurting him and then taking Bunzel. The part 1 finale starts off with Aaron seeing his parents, who end up just being Lloyd and Nia. Cole, Zane and Bunzel are in the Cloud Kingdom, and they go into a control room and try and fix it from falling. And meanwhile, the blood moon ceremony starts, and Kai, Wildfire and Sora start to attack the wolf mask warriors. Sora manages to trap Cinder with her mech, and then some of the other ninja arrive for the battle. Kai also does Rising Dragon again on Cinder, who has no chance on him. But unfortunately, Raz throws Kai into Neverspace, and that lets Noct pass through into Ninjago. But going back to Cloud Kingdom, the ninja are very bad at fixing a steering mechanism, so Euphrasia has to step in and use the wind powers to stabilize the Cloud Kingdom. But back in the battle, Lloyd and Nia both do Rising Dragon, and Aaron tries to save Nia using his Object Spinjitzu, but he fails to do so, so Sora uses her tech powers to make it look like Aaron succeeded in using his Object Spinjitzu. The bad guys then retreat and end up in this weird grassy area, and Jordana starts laughing hysterically. We then end part 1 with a cool shot of Kai and Bunzel in Neverspace. And to start off part 2, Aaron and Sora infiltrate the administration because Aaron wants to see if he can find where his parents might have been sent to. But because Agent Jay Walker went missing, all of those files have now been hidden. They then get caught, but they then smoke bomb away. Also, during their escape, they see the Matriarch Dragon crashing into the ground. Anyway, the other ninjas come, and Ryu finds a baby Matriarch. They then fly to where all of the other Matriarch tribe members are, and they also run into Raptor, who is after the baby dragon, but he easily got defeated. So they then find out that the other dragons now live in the Temple of the Dragon Energy Cores. We then end the episode with the Source Dragon of Motion coming to the ninja and telling them to enter the Tournament of the Sources. In episode 12, we see Kai and Bunzel in Neverspace, where they are trying to evade the Forbidden Five. And at the monastery, Eren makes a pie and also says that he doesn't want to go to the Source Tournament because he has no powers. Meanwhile, Lloyd visits the Master Dragons to ask them to be the ninjas masters at the tournament, but they say no because they believe that it should be Lloyd who leads them. Also, Zane was there training with the dragons and he learnt Ryzen Dragon. So all of the ninjas then make it to what I believe is the Dragonstone Shrine, where they get refused to go in by Blekt, so they decide to scale the rock wall. Blekt is upset by this, but his nephew Roby is very happy with this and invites them all into the tournament, and Wildfire also starts to fancy Roby. And Eren also finds his old friend Thrak, who we name dropped earlier on in the episode. The start of episode 13 gives us a flashback of Thrak saving Eren from some bullies, and they bond over their love for the ninja. Anyway, the ninja get a tour around the city where they find the snail guy from season 1 who is now the master of plants. They then get shown into a pre-tournament dinner where they find out that Raz and his minions are in the tournament, and Zeatrix also walks in and disrupts everything. Anyway, in the night, an intruder intrudes on the ninja's sleeping quarters and they fight it. They also wake everyone else up and find out that one attacked Raz and the Reflex Master. Everyone then proceeds to blame the snail guy because of the mucus on the stick the bots were holding. But as everyone starts to head back to bed, Nia spots Jay in the crowd, but she loses him. Episode 14 starts with Eren starting his detective work, where he finds a suspicious marking on a wall. Thrak then finds him, and they talk and eat pie. Cole also runs into Geo, who shows him his mum's old Earth mech. Anyway, the tournament actually kicks off in this episode with Zane versus with the Rock Reflex guy, and Zane loses because his ice melted just a little bit too fast. Nia then has to face off against Jay, who has forgotten who Nia is. At the start, Nia just can't fight him, but once Jay puts on the wolf mask and shatters his goodness, and then performs Shadow Spin, Nia then performs Rising Dragon, and Nia also manages to get to the top of the platform and beats Jay, which means Nia receives Jay's lightning powers and Jay leaves the city. Episode 15 then starts off with Wu and Nia on the bounty during the start of the merge. Then we cut back to the present, where the ninja knock on the door of the Wolf Clan and ask about Jay. Nia then suggests that they go after Jay, but Lloyd says no because they need to stay for the tournament. The next day, the tournament continues with Sora versing a rock who is the master of balance, and after an initial struggle, she uses her tech powers and wins. Then we get a matchup of Wildfire and Cinder, where Cinder won pretty easily and Wildfire had to give up her powers. And after the battle, Cinder goes up to the ninja and uses Wildfire's heat powers, and then he pretends that he got punched by Wildfire. Blekt then evicts the ninja from the island. Then Zane brings up a rule that can save them, being that they can win a race to stay in the tournament. While the ninja race the tiny dragon, Eren and Ryu go snooping around in the Wolf Clan dorm, where he finds out that Thrak is on Raz's team, and Ryu finds a gold rock which he can hear Kai out of, which is never really explained. Anyway, Raz then walks in and tells Eren that Sora used her tech powers instead of Eren using his object spinjitzu, and that Master Wu caused the merge. Woo! In episode 16, we start off with the ninjas racing in the combo vehicle, and they split off into separate compartments and they beat the baby dragon and get to stay on the island. Anyway, Raz and Eren are still talking, and Raz reveals that his goal is to reverse the merge. He then lets Eren go. Then the next few tournament rounds kick off with Zeatrix beating Euphrasia and Noct beating Tox. After the battles, Eren finds Thrak, and Thrak tells Eren about what his master Raz taught him, which leads Eren to perform a real Spinjitzu tornado for the first time. Anyway, we then move on to another battle with Lloyd beating Mr. Pale, and we also finally get to see his face for the first time. And then Cole and Thrak fight, and even though the course is in favour of Thrak, Cole still manages to keep it close, but Thrak wins and he is pretty happy. Then we get another big battle, this time between Noct and Nia, where they fight to collect the most gems. Noct gets the first one, and then Nia gets the second one, and almost the third, but right as she is about to get the gem moved and landed right in front of Noct, allowing him to win. Then the next fight is between Sora and Cinder, and Sora manages to use her tech powers and finish the course way ahead of Cinder. Anyway, later on in the night, Wu Spirit wakes up Cole and shows him yet another monastery. Episode 17 starts off with Kai and Bonzo still hiding from the Forbidden Five. Then it cuts back to the ninja, where Nia starts to hear Kai before their Wi-Fi drops and they lose connection. Meanwhile, Aaron has really put on his detective hat and has worked out all the possible candidates for who stole the Matriarch's crown. And while looking at the evidence, Lloyd gets another vision of the sword that Zeatrix hits him with. But moving on to the tournament, Thrak and the Master of Reflex battle it out with Thrak winning, and in the middle of the fight, Zeatrix goes up to Lloyd, and I think W Brick sums this up quite well.
Standing there pissing his pants like a 4-year-old in front of the enemy.
But going back to the fights, Zeatrix then beats the Bubble Master, Noct beats Neuro, Lloyd beats Zero, who somehow even made it this far, and Sora beats Camille. But the final battle of the day is Lloyd versus Zeatrix. For the entire fight, Lloyd tried to stop Zeatrix from grabbing the sword from his visions, and halfway through the fight, they destroy the claws and have to pause the fight. They then resume with Lloyd gaining some confidence and he manages to win, beating his visions. But then Zeatrix comes back up and strikes him with the sword, knocking Lloyd off the course and putting him into a coma. Episode 18 starts with Aaron and Wildfire going to Blex and Roby's office, and meanwhile Sora fights Thrak. And in the middle of the fight, Thrak pulls out his wolf mask and he almost puts it on before remembering what Aaron said to him, so he then chucks it away, throwing away his chance to win because he loses, and Raz is not very happy. After the fight, Jordana acts weird again and gives Sora a note which has an Imperium math equation on it. Anyway, back with Aaron and Wildfire, they meet Blex and Roby at the front door, and they find that the back of Blex's walking stick has the same mark that Aaron found on the wall before. After they leave, Aaron and Wildfire sneak into the office to look for clues. She then pulls on the phone, revealing a secret entrance to an evil lair. They find a bunch of evidence, including a calendar that proves Blex rigged the tournament for Raz. Then the semi-final of the tournament begins with Noct versus Lloyd, who is still in a coma. Never mind, he is better now and ready to compete, but mid-battle, Blex stops the fight because the rules say that a fighter can't compete if they are unwell, ruling Lloyd out for the rest of the tournament and making Noct the winner on default. Meanwhile, Cole and Aaron go to explore the monastery and Cole gets his Titan mech. In episode 19, we start with a flashback of the Forbidden Five crafting the wolf masks. And back to the present, Aaron and Cole meet Master Wu's ghost at the monastery, and Aaron asks Wu if he caused the merge, and he responds with yes. But now onto the exciting stuff, with the final of the tournament, Sora versus Noct. Noct takes the upper hand early on, but Sora quickly uses her smarts to defend against him. The fight is then pretty even for the most part, but it ends with Sora on the ground and Noct is victorious. At the final ceremony, Wildfire and the Purple Rock guy reveal that the tournament is rigged, and then Noct knocks over Roby and gives himself all of the elemental powers. Noct then turns on Raz, and Jordana reveals that she was possessed by Noct's sister, another Forbidden Five member. A brawl then breaks out between everyone, but we don't really get to see it start until episode 20, which starts with the epic fight with the corrupted wolf masked warriors. Shortly after, Noct breaks into the monastery, ready to shoot all his powers at the horns, but Aaron uses his Spinjitzu to stop him, and with the help of Ryu and Raz, Noct gets pinned down, but he manages to get back up and release the rest of the Forbidden Five. Then the rest of the ninja enter the monastery to face Noct, and Lloyd compliments Aaron's spinjitzu, but Aaron is salty towards him. Meanwhile, Wildfire helps Roby, who is stuck on a cliff, and they kiss in their own weird way. But back to the battle, Ryu sparks Sia with a special power, and she is able to shoot at the Matriarch's crown, and that opens up a pathway for Kai to enter the merged realms again. He then gets into a heated battle with Noct, but Noct uses the size element and he goes to crush Kai, but luckily Roby is able to use the trophy just in time and suck out Noct's powers. Noct then runs off, bringing Raz with him, and Aaron chases after them. Back in the city, Sora is crowned champion, and all the ninja go back to the monastery, and Lloyd is given a dragon icon from the Source Dragon of Motion, which allows him to call upon her one time when she is really needed. And then the season ends with Aaron and Raz sitting around a campfire in what a lot of people are calling the Netherrealm. So overall, I think this season might have to be my favourite of all time. It was a bit of a shame it was released like 3 months early, but hey, we are used to it by now. See ya later, be Ninja.